Okay, hopefully this will be a very short live stream. If a person shows up on it, I will tell them. But I'm just finishing off this Nobby. And so once that's done, we'll have a quick look at it and we'll go ooh, ah, and then get on with our lives. So let's get started. Turning on the fan, which will turn me into a Dalek. Sorry about this, guys. It's the only way. Turning on the machine. So, for those people who want to catch up on what was going on, Jeff last night mentioned that he's never really had that much success with Nobbies. I wouldn't call this a blow. I think it's a shared success. Nobbies are hard to do. They're hard to do, they're hard to find. I'll show you something in a minute when I'm done with this open. Okay, you'll see that I've docked it incorrectly, it's on a bit of an angle. So that's bad marks to me. I was excited, I've done them. As a matter of fact, I've got matches and stuff here. Move this over to here. Maybe this thing will behave itself today. What do you reckon? Behave me? No. Don't be silly, Phil. Behave. Okay. Yeah, that's alright. Nah. Anyway, I'll just show you my dopping setup. Might be able to organise something here. Let's say I do it this way. Swap it around. Here's me face, as another notable Aussie says. Alright, so if I just pop this over here, like so. And hopefully it won't fall down or do anything silly. It's pretty precariously positioned, might I point out. So whilst we're here, I'll just set it up so you can actually see what's going on. I've got another fossil here, that's a Glossoptera leaf, but we'll worry about that later. I've still got the battleship set up. That's cool. So I've got myself my dopping station. So this is actually a Promite jar, and I just got an old piece of cloth, if you must know. It's an old set of underpants. Just tore that up, stuck it in there. So this is entirely made of spare parts, and there's just methyl in it. So that is all it takes to make a dopping station. I just cut a hole with the Dremel tool, and I've got fire. Yeah, this was so poorly set up. Give me a break, I was excited. So anywho, I've still got some work to do, because I've a few surprises I want to have by Monday at my workplace. So I thought I'd just have a quick break and do some filming and stuff, because I enjoy doing that. Then after that, straight onto the grind again, I suppose. What I'm doing at the moment, where is the camera? What I'm doing is I'm trying to make sure that this is completely level, and I've gone so not completely level as you rotate it. Being put off by the fact that some of the wax is lopsided on the stick, so yep. So that's not doing much. It's flipping around, so it needs to go up. Ow! If you've ever adopted Opal, you've probably got some sympathy there. Although, I burnt myself on an oven in Newcastle the other day. That hurt more. The other thing that I'd point out about my dopping stuff is that I actually just use ordinary human leg wax. Fun having neighbours. Alright, that's that done. Okay, let's see, is that level on this side? Yeah, only marginally distracting having. Okay, so this piece needs to go down a bit, so I'll just mark that. Okay, so this bit needs to go up. Got to do this right. When I'm really interested in precision, I do this, so not all my dop sticks have this written on it, but this makes it easier when I'm doing my dopping. I'll just show you. So I've put a little arrow on there. I have never come up with a situation where I've had to repeat this on a particular dop stick, so there's very little risk. I didn't believe my own handwriting. Right, the only other thing is to make this thing level. What I might do is I might move over to the I'll move over to the sander after this. So I'll quickly get this guy level, and I'll actually, I'll take flipping you around. Right round, baby, right round. And flip it round, baby, right round. There we go, it's right round. Now have a look at that. So there's that little piece there that kind of dips down. So what I want to do is I want to get rid of it. Oh, it's that piece there, dips down. You can see that little divot. Presuming you're going to actually watch it later. See that little divot? There's a divot there and there's a dip down there. So I want to just straighten that out. what I think I'll do now is I'll just set up the selfie stick and we'll get the first little bits of this, first little bits of the polish happening. Go and have the colour section now that I know you can. Get the pop. Not exactly the top of the box, is it? Let me try another colour scheme. Not noir. Let's try green. No, not that one at all. Got some pretty silly ones out there. Let's try maybe bean works. I'd say the bean's the best of them. Right, okay, so let's get going with this. Okay, so that's more or less working. What will happen is while I'm polishing it on the sander, it'll slowly center itself, and I can let it get hot and then just center it whilst I'm doing that, and then the rest of the centering happens just as you gently rotate it. What I'm going to do is grab the selfie stick. Okay, I'm back and I have my selfie stick. Actually, I'll swap around for this so you can see all the fun of setting it up. There it is. So naturally the phone goes into the end part there, and I'll sort out exactly which way it needs to go. Probably like that, even like that, or even like that, who knows. But we'll get that sorted out, like that, like that, like that. And then what I can do is I can pop out these little things here. Come on, pop out. There we go, there we go, there we go. So now I've got a little tripod stand. So if I can just get the tripod stand to sit somewhere logical, it'll be all hunky Midori. And I have got a logical location. Alrighty. That was easier than I thought. So what I'll do is I'll just shove this in here. Hopefully it won't turn the phone off. Where is the... There's that. Whoop. Here we go. In you get. Now you behave. Oh, look at that. I think that works. At the cost of break. Did I just break my selfie stick? Selfie stick is broken. Who cares? It was a bad conversation anyway. Look, we got a problem. Right. Let's move this around. Right round, baby, right round. Will it actually get in there? It will get in there. Let's try Let's try moving it. Right round, baby. Right round. Like a record, baby. Yeah, baby. Right round. So George, this is all experimental, in case you hadn't figured that out for yourself. Just get a clamp and clamp it. That'll work. Alright, so pop that down there like so. I think that'll work. Sorry to give you a run around like this. Now, if you were a run around, baby, run around. I'm not getting out of that particular song, am I? Just looking for a clamp or something. There we go. Here we go, clamping it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to just clamp it here. Are you joking? Just fits, does it? Great. I went to a lot of effort when I already had something ready to go. So here we go. Let's just open this clamp up. You can behave yourself in the clamp. Why are you not behaving in the clamp? Oh, because I've unbalanced it. Got to have a balanced clamp situation. Right. Here we go. Oop. There we go. Perfect. Now, someone's just joined the stream. It's a shame because you have seen some great ingenuity just prior to you joining the stream. Oh well, or maybe you saw the great ingenuity and thought, no, this is nonsense. Alright, so move that out of the way. So I think I've solved one problem. That looks pretty cool. So you'll notice that I've actually got a ring here instead of the standard method. It's a bit better because it's just a bit more quick fire. You can change it over. Alright, here we go. You can possibly zoom in now. Zoom in. Yep. Can you see from there? Good. Because I spent a lot of time sitting around this edge. Let's see where it actually blocks the view, shall we? Oh, that's looking pretty good. Still not quite used to this. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. Perfect. There's the camera. But there's still a little bit of nonsense that I have to remove from the top. And there's a bit of a crack. But we'll get that. Probably anyway. Hello there. If that's Jeff or someone who's inclined to talk, just send a hello and see if I can read it, because it's in a somewhat inaccessible position. I can sort of see. Push the message button, hopefully that works. Excellent. So hello Daniel. It's good to see you on the stream. I'm just finishing off a Nobby here. It's a pretty quick one today. But thank you for responding, because I was wondering whether I could actually read the text, and I can, so that's good. To give you some context, this Nobby is something that I had on the live stream last night, but I dropped it, and I didn't know where it had gotten to, because it was dark last night. So I'm just finishing this off. You can have a look at it now, and as you can see, I've only got a partial view of the camera screen, but I can see it's oversaturating a bit, and that's what this Nobby is doing. It's just an oversaturator. It's beautiful. There's a starling just behind me. Likes to come up and see what I'm doing. There's also a couple of pigeons that want to do the same, and a few lizards. How's that looking? Okay, so long as I can get this, so long as I can get this top sorted, it should be fine. Just a little bit of a crack. Gotten most of the shaping out of the way. The only issue I can see is that I prefer to do cabs that are like oblong. This one's round, so there you go. No, there is a bit of oblong in it too. That'll go eventually. Now, if you're here for the birds, Daniel, I am thinking of doing the live stream. I'll read the comments after I've done this, and we'll see what people say about having a live stream just looking at two cockatoos. You still see that? Yeah, you can. I'm making it tougher, aren't I? I'm having to just make a flat top on it, and so that means that it's not exciting no matter what angle you go from, except for maybe my angle. Alright, got most of the issues out of it. Good. So, I think I'll just do a few quick other things to this, and then I'll move up a grade of sandpaper. In case you're interested, I have a feeling that the opal miners of yore, they spend an awful long time down a hole and not having any social interaction, no women, no anything. So that's why you end up getting some somewhat suggestive names when they have opal cutting and opal pieces. That's my idea anyway. That's why I reckon they use words like Nobby. What it means is that nowadays you have to be mature when you're dealing with opals, even though the inner 5-year-old wants to giggle like a little girl. Now that's looking pretty phantasmagorical. Look at that. So this is the Nobby that I dropped last night, in case it's Jeff. I can see the writing only just, but I'm concentrating mostly on the opal, so if the writing disappears, I've got no way of making it permanent. But I can technically see the writing. I've just got to be lucky to spot it when you actually do some texting. Oh, now this Nobby is starting to look fantastic. That's dry. Let me wet it a bit. She's an absolute beaut, that one. And I'm going to change the paper. I think this is an opal setup that nobody else uses. There are sanding setups available. I've checked where the motor and stuff is. It sits high up on the base that I've made. So that means that you can get the whole thing wet without hurting yourself. But I will actually have strip down this whole thing and have a look at what all the opal cutting has actually done over the last couple of months eventually, just to make sure that everything's safe. No, okay, so this is 2000 grit sandpaper. This one's a bit long in the tooth as well. I may have to retire this one afterwards. Cool thing is that now that I'm going on to the 2000 grit, I've got a few other things that I can use the 2000 on. If you saw my face, I'm making nervous glances up at the screen just to make sure no one's actually doing anything. Or, well, not doing anything, that sounds rather authoritarian. Wait, no one do anything. Oddly enough, think that's enough from that one, because we're starting to send the opal a bit flat. It's looking good. Just going to take the top down a little bit so that it widens out a bit. Don't want to go much further than that. Alright, so that's what it looks like now. Oh, everyone's gone. Obviously they were saying something. Right, so this guy is actually done. Well, not done, but done for 2K. What I might do is I might grab some of the other things. Try not to make a mess of the place. Good advice. Some other stuff that I was doing during the live stream. The one I picked, it's not the battleship. This one isn't sitting quite right. I'm going to go and put it onto the larger one for a second. I'm not going to transfer the phone over because it's going to be too quick. Just take 5 seconds. Okay, done. I hope you were amused whilst I was there. No, you're gone. Yeah, fair enough. I do that too. So this one is a Minterby, and that tiny little bit of grinding and polishing actually put a chip into it. Minterby is a tough medium to work with, I can guarantee that. So I'm going to heat it up a little bit because it's not sitting right. So I can just sit there and put it onto the sand until it's heated. Now mate, you're starting to look a bit phantasmagorical, aren't you? Look at you. They keep saying the generations of camera are getting better on the phones, but like, I'm not seeing it. Eyeball is still much better, I reckon. Mark 1 eyeball. Yeah, just for those people who may or may not be on the live stream, I am aware of how much of a time commitment it is, because I do join some live streams from time to time, not as a streamer, but as a ordinary citizen. I put on my Clark Kent glasses and I just sit there and I'm not super streamer. Man, I talk crap sometimes, don't I? Anyway, but I am aware of, like, you're sitting there, you're enjoying the stream, but you don't necessarily want to spend like 2 hours with the guy. So I do understand that. If I tap the all messages are visible. Oh, okay. Stunning. What do you do with all the opals is what I heard. Okay, so yeah, watching Max's progress, I figured out the technology here. Max's progress is amazing, and yeah, I think I will do some of that later tonight. I'll cook myself some dinner, do a few things, and just leave the cockatoos to do their thing. But the opals, yeah, they are stunning. I love them, and I do have an opal website that I sell them on. I think if you look on my information, you'll actually see that somewhere on the YouTube channel. But I've got an awful lot here that I don't have on the website, because the ones on the website are really quite expensive, and there's a lot that you cut that don't end up being so expensive. So I'll try and figure out a place where I can actually sell some cheaper opals. A lot of people want the rough as well. If you start looking at opals, eventually you'll end up looking at the rough and wanting to do it yourself. I think it's just a natural progression. And from there you might actually just become a hermit in Lightning Ridge. Alright, so okay, hello Milky Moo. Okay, so what I'll do is are you wanting the live stream of the opals, or are you wanting the live stream of the cockatoos? Okay, I get the rough from Lightning Ridge. It depends on what I'm doing. I've been given some rough by some people who are nice and generous. As a matter of fact, a lot of the opal vendors around are very, very generous. And so I've been buying things and they just give me some rough whilst I'm buying them. They're wonderful people. So, yeah, that happens. I've been to the Rocks Market. There's actually a video of me buying the rough at the Rocks Market, but that's not a typical place where you get it. A lot of the stuff I get online, there's a website called opalauctions.com, and if you know what you're doing, you can get it cheap. As a general rule, I don't pay very much for my opal rough. I just won a bid today where I've seen some opal which you'd expect it to be worth maybe 100, 200 bucks, and I've gotten it for maybe 10, 20. So that happens. I've also been to Lightning Ridge, and my degree is actually in soil science, so I'm not completely out of my depth when I'm looking at a hole in the ground. Missed it. I'll just reactivate the chat. You don't know what it is. If I could actually get to that. I know, it's great, isn't it? Come on, you can do this. It's not showing me. Oh well. You don't know what the Rocks Markets are, you probably don't know what opal rough is and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So basically, over in, I don't know where you come from, Milky, but I come from Australia, obviously, and about, I don't know, 700-800 kilometres north of here, there's a place called Lightning Ridge, and that's where the opals are mined. So plenty of ways you can actually get that stuff to you, not mine. You can buy it online, opalauctions.com. There'll be options there, and if you know what you're doing, you can just try your luck and try and buy an opal in the rough. You can also buy finished stones on that site as well. But you can also, but I have also gone over to Lightning Ridge, and I've literally done noodling, which is looking through the mullock heaps and just seeing if they've missed an opal or two. And I've also bought some rough out there as well. So there's plenty of ways to get the rough if you know what you're doing, and there's plenty of ways if you don't know what you're doing. To me, it's quite a relaxing experience. So this is a way that I decompress after a hard day or week or whatever else it is. What I do know is this one is actually not progressing as well as I'd like it to. That means I'm using the wrong grade of paper, so I'm going to move it back up and just get some other ones done. This is a crystal opal with a fossil in it. Yeah. For me, Lightning Ridge is a lovely, lovely place. For most other people, quite boring. I think there's plenty to see in Lightning Ridge. I love it. But you know, horses for courses. That's that one. I'll show that one to you. I like those ones. And if you catch the live stream, I'm not going to do it this time, but we've got a pretty fun game that we play called Opal Battleship. So basically what happens here is I have a little board here. I'm just going to move it over. Got a board here with a whole heap of opal rough, and you get to call out, you know, for example, B2, which would be this particular opal here, and I'll cut it for you. That's been a lot of fun, and quite frankly, the guy who did that before, Jeff, he also cuts opal, and he picked an absolute smasher. I could not believe what it turned out like, because I had no idea that it was that good. You could just have a crack, and depending on where you are in the opal game, if you have no skill whatsoever, well, that's fine. I'm going to cut it for you. If you have plenty of skill, well, you've got a problem, because I'm cutting it for you. Yes. Opals are derived from organic materials, but they are also derived from non-organic materials. Basically, they are hydrated silica. That's all they are. They're not even really a mineral. They're described as a mineraloid. So they come in all shapes and sizes. You can get volcanic opals in Ethiopia. They're called Wello opals, and they're good in their own right, except for the fact that they react badly to water. And so now there's a rumour running around that you can't get opals wet. That rumour is absolute rubbish if you're dealing with Lightning Ridge opals. You can do whatever you like with these guys. They're very durable. You can get them wet, you can get them dry. Got all sorts of chemicals here. I can soak them in things. Justin from Black Opals Direct has already done stuff like that just to show how durable the opals are. I just missed it. Oh well. Next time someone speaks, I'll find out. But basically what happens is that because it's silica, you can imagine over millions of years the silica either precipitates around an area, or it just flows in very, very slowly like a gel. And so if you've got an animal that has died, for example, and it's left a hole, like for a fossil, okay, so I'm just popping that in, and it's left a hole, the silica will fill up that hole and you'll get the impression of the animal. I've got a few of those sitting around. Where have I got a fossil opal to sit? Yeah, I've got a belemnite here. Hang on. This is a gastropod called a belemnite, and that's the internal skeleton of it. That existed about 120 odd million years ago. If you know what a nautilus is, you know, one of those giant snail shells that just kind of floats around in the ocean. It's related to that guy. Yeah, but this is a belemnite, and that is an opal fossil. It's 100% opal. It's also 100% fossil. Also in here I've got a few other opals. This is called a boulder opal, or Corey nut. That's actually formed by different means. Hang on, there we go. So you can see there's like ironstone with opal within it. So it's all very different. Let me get back onto this. Ah, the battleship. This is the one that Jeff picked out last night. Doesn't look as good as it did last night. It'll get there. We're just trying to clean it all up. That's ready to go up a grade in paper as well. Alright, and I've got a few doublets. I'll show you. And this is my pick. I'll do that one too. Time is getting away from us though, so I'll try and wrap this up pretty quick though. And then we'll get on to the bird live stream. Presuming that's what people want. I haven't checked the comments yet, because I've been busily doing this opal stuff. At the moment I've got a boarder, so I'm going to have to get her permission and get her to realise that there'll actually be a camera that's just running as she walks in and out of the kitchen. If you were just trying to live your life, you would want to know that too, wouldn't you? Okay. You call your guy Chomp. Okay, I've obviously missed some of that, so that I presume that's a parrot? You like watching the cockatoo vids? Okay. What I'll do is I'll get this guy sorted out, and then what I'll do is I will finish up this live stream and I'll rename it something cockatoo related when we do it, so everyone will be in absolutely no doubt as to what's going on. This particular opal needs a little bit more work, I think. I have to go back to the 1000 grit. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've put it on 1000 grit. Okay, so this one looks mighty fine, but it needs to have a little bit of work on it. Okay, we've got this guy. This is the battleship. There's the Nobby. Don't know where the Nobby went. Been busy chatting. Found the Nobby. Okay, just putting up the 3K, and then we'll shut this down. Different 3K, I reckon. That one. What I meant by 3K is 3000 grit sandpaper. So this one has got all sorts of dust and debris in it. That goes over there, and I'll clean that later. I've got fresh or cleaned sandpaper over here, in case you were interested. So from here on in, I'll just do this Nobby, and then we'll get set up for everything else. Put the light there for your pleasure because I can't see a thing now. Not the cleverest way to polish an opal. So guys, whilst I'm concentrating on the opals, because the camera's up, I have to look up for the talking. So I do occasionally miss what you're saying. I'm not being deliberately snobby. You'll know it if I'm being deliberately snobby. Yeah, yes, I am so good. Personally, I love polishing opals, but I can understand why it's not everybody's cup of tea. I wouldn't blame him. If Chompy's what I think it is, because I haven't been able to read all of it. If Chompy's terrified of dogs, Loki's terrified of pretty much everyone. The good news is if I set up a camera, you'll be able to observe her without her worrying about other people being in the room. Okay, I call that Nobby a success. That is brilliant. There's still plenty more that needs to be done. But what I'll do now is I'll quickly go into the inside room and I'll introduce you to the birds, and then I'll shut down the stream and then rename it. But so you can see the birds as a bit of a sneak peek. Now, takes selfie stick. Hello. Oh, I can actually read what's going on now. That's pretty cool. There we go. Flip it round. Flip it round. That's your cue to be flipped around. I'll just take it out of the selfie stick. That's easier. Ugh. And that's my hand. And there we go. Hello. Well, she's trained to say hi. So, good bird. There you are. Yes. And this is Max over here. Well, yeah, well, over here, this guy is Max, and hopefully what we'll do is we'll get him used to the camera, because I've just set up a little ring setup over here, and what I'll do is I'll just load that into there, just checking how much. Yeah, I'm sure I've got plenty battery left to do this. Yeah, Max does not like the camera, and the funny thing about this is, I'll just shut the door. This is Pony, by the way. Hello. My girlfriend found Pony freezing in the middle of the winter, and so we just popped her in the cage, and we're trying to figure out what to do with her at the moment. She's technically an introduced species, so I can't just release her. It's illegal to do so. But I'm not going to just. It's not in my DNA to leave a creature to its own fate. Anyway, I missed that last comment, but that's okay. All right, I'll just quickly. Max, do you reckon you'll accept a scratching whilst I've got the camera in my hand? Not looking happy. Here we go. What I'll do is I'll clean up around. I'll do some various tasks that I normally do around the birds whilst we're here. Are you going to accept this? Or are you going to... Yeah, there we go. Hello, Max. This bird is just absolutely beautiful. . He's had such a hard life. Yeah. So, believe it or not, Max is short for Pontifex Maximus Annuus III. I found him with some people. I won't describe. I won't describe the people. It's not fair because if you don't know how to look after birds, you don't know how to look after birds. So they weren't necessarily being cruel to the animal, but like Max was in a terrible state, and he was thoroughly, thoroughly vicious. He's still scared of hands because if I bring my hand up here, the only way I can get near him is if I'm using a stick. And he started to understand that he's starting to understand that I'd mean him no harm. But there's always this call of the wild and there's this instinct to get away. And when I first got him, one of my highest ranking videos was actually a like 2 or 3 second clip of Max when I first got him. They'd taken him and possibly even taken him from the wild, which is illegal. They'd taken him and they'd clipped his wings. And he thought he could fly, or he didn't understand why he couldn't. And so he was sitting on the top of the cage. It was Loki's cage just over there. And he just tried to fly and just went splat on the ground. That got 120k views. Unbelievable. But now Max's wings have grown back. Depending on what goes on, I might give a flying demonstration. Max is absolutely no trouble. He's a lovely bird. If I get too close, he will bite me, and he can draw blood. As a matter of fact, he's powerful enough to take a finger off. That's the kind of bite pressure cockatoos have. You know what I think he's, yeah. Can I just get that pin, Max? Thanks, mate. So he will accept me touching him if I do it the right way. There you go. Can I just get that one? Thanks, mate. You may well see a bite in the live stream now, but there you go. Trying to find a pin feather for him. Got one. How's that? They love it when the pin feathers get cracked. There's another one, mate. Hang on. Yeah, there we go. So check that out. That was just sitting there. That's the sheathing for the feathers. And that drives them bananas. Yeah. I'm going to put that over there. Yeah, do you want me to do the beak? All right. There you go. So their beaks get itchy too. They naturally wear their beaks down. That's why cockatoos are so destructive. And he's got a little bit of an overbite here. Hang on, I'll use the pointy end to point it out. It's okay, Max. Get over there. He's got a bit of an overbite here. And then they normally have an overbite, but there's a bit of a divot here. The other thing is, if you see me accidentally poke him in the eye, it's a weird fact. Cockatoos' eyes are indestructible. I'm not going to try and demonstrate that. But like something that would make you extremely uncomfortable, they just wear it. And he loves getting his eye scratched too. Here we go. Come on. Scratch your eye. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If everyone wants to know what a cockatoo's ears look like, here we go. There we go. There's a pin feather sitting there. I'm not brave enough to get that one. But there you go. There's a cockatoo ear. And that is a place that he really has trouble getting to on his own. And so that also means it's my entry into his affection as well. Because I do this enough times, he's just not going to want to have me go away. Yeah. I think that they all molt at the same time. I reckon, like, I've set Loki's birthday at September 11. We don't know when she was born. But it makes sense. If they're born in the wild, they'll be born roughly at the same time. So I think that roughly, give or take, September is when you'll find that most cockatoos are born. So I reckon you'll find that Max's birthday will be around September 11 too. Loki, long story short, yeah, she's a wild cockatoo as well, but she was a suspected beak and feather case. Look that up. So for a long time, I just held her and paid for some vet appointments and stuff like that, just to see what the deal was. And by the time we were done with all of that, Loki being such a young bird, pretty much I was her mum. Janata, I've got a live stream going. So, yeah, I'm going to shut this down because I better tell the other people in the house what's going on, and I'll set things up again on the ring flash and we'll have a chat. Okay? All right, have a good next 5 minutes. This will set itself up again. Dr. Phil out.